The cenotaphs of the Jaisalmer kings house an active rainwater harvesting system as they are still maintained by the erstwhile royal family. A dam collects the sparse rainfall. Seepage from this lake is tapped through shallow wells, bedis, that irrigate an extensive orchard. No water is wasted. Even the overflow from the dam is channeled through the bedis. On the edge of the sandy desolate wastes of the Thar, rising 75 meters high, is the golden fort of Jaisalmer. The second oldest in Rajasthan, the fort was made in the 12th century. A key outpost from the days of the Trans-Asian caravans, it prospered from trade along the Silk Route. Over the centuries, the kings and rich trading families built many intricately carved palaces, temples, and havelis. These, along with the picturesque desert, draw tourists from around the world. The only living fort in the country, it is densely packed with a vibrant population geared towards the tourism business. Important buildings in the town and fort collected rainwater which was stored in underground takas. Legendary wells tapped the water table 300 feet below. Due to a very meager amount of rain, the perennial Gadesar lake was the main source from which water had to be physically carried up to the fort. Gadesar, originally a large seasonal lake, was reinforced with an earthen mound in the 14th century. Water was held sacred, and an extensive temple and palace complex developed around the lake. Grazing and even washing was prohibited. A canal tapped a natural catchment and a system of desiltation pits cleaned the water before it reached the lake. The lake no longer collects as much water as it used to, and its sedimentation system has collapsed. Amarsagar was an elaborate garden and palace complex laid out around a masonry dam. A complex of bowdies on the lake bed stored water even when the lake dried up. The lake is now completely silted up and the bowdies are in ruins. The gardens used to be maintained with water from these bowdies. Due to the extreme drought conditions here, a sophisticated mud embankment technology called khadin evolved in the rural areas. This is characterized by a relatively low but very long earthen dam on the lower slopes of hills with a particular soil type which facilitates seepage. A shallow temporary lake of runoff was allowed to soak into the soil. The bed was used for cultivation once the water had seeped in. This seepage was collected in shallow wells called bedis or kuis. Even the excess runoff was channeled to these to be used in the dry season. The Indira Gandhi Canal epitomizes the new water equations of the area. Many villages where people lived for centuries on brackish water now have overflowing amounts of piped sweet water. The overwhelming quantities of Sutlej waters have made the barren desert green. Earlier, local communities were in control of their water resources. Now, with piped water supplied by the government, the people have lost the reverence of rainwater. In spite of the severe shortage of water here, rainwater harvesting systems are completely neglected. The callous attitude to water can be seen in Jaisalmer fort, which is suffering from an excess of water. The fort is unable to handle the large amount of sewage and seepage it generates. This excess moisture is corroding the fort and making it unstable. A system of underground channels was made by the municipality, but this is proving inadequate. A more concerted effort needs to be made. But more importantly, the fort needs to be de-stressed to prevent further deterioration. In spite of the Indira Gandhi Canal, groundwater remains the main source of water in the area. Systematic exploitation has made the water table recede dangerously low. Maintained well, the lakes will recharge the table. At the same time, water bodies like the Gadesar and Amar Sagar are important heritage sites that could provide an enriched experience for visitors.
खड़ीन हाँ खेती करते हैं अंदर तो पानी इकट्ठा होता है पानी इकट्ठा ऊपर से जो बरसात होती है वही होता है नहीं तो नहीं
The Khadin technology has the potential to be used both for irrigation and for freshwater needs in rural areas. Such a program could also be a means to build self-reliant and socially aware communities in arid zones.
नहीं नहीं कुएं हुए अपने यहाँ है ही नहीं कुछ भी सब ऊपर का ही बरसात का पानी है
The various temples in Jaisalmer are the only places where rainwater harvesting is practiced. Rainwater, Palar Pani, is considered the purest form of water and is exclusively used for all rituals.